Great. Let me just ask the orchestra members what it's like to have Branford.
Oh, that's not. That lunch was fruitful. Thank you.
Great. Do you have disagreement with each other? I mean, if that happens, what do you do?
Well, we had a I don't even think Nardo would think of it as a disagreement, but yesterday before the concert, we were playing the Mio Creation of the World, and there's this. The second movement starts out. There's a piano part, and then a bass solo, and then followed by a trumpet, followed by a trombone, followed by the saxophone. And we have this line, ba 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 da, ba 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 da, and there's this way that I've been playing it for the last year. And Nardo says, well, if Jordan, the bass player, if Jordan's going to play it that way, everybody should play it the way Jordan plays it. Now, I personally like the way I play it better. But then I started to think about what Nardo said, and it's like, well, he's right. You know, there's 5 people playing the same line. There should be some cohesiveness. And so am I going to stand here and try to get everybody to play it like me? And since everybody's almost playing it like that, what makes more sense? So I just played it the way everybody else played it. And when I did it, was that you last night? I played it and somebody went, yeah, like, Yeah, finally, exactly. It's about time. There you go. No, it was Dennis. I wasn't on stage. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that happen because you can't afford to allow your ego to get in the way, or your lack of ego, I should say, your insecurities to come to the forefront, because you have to understand that the only reason he would say that is to improve the music. There's no hidden agenda here. And I think that it's unique to be in a situation where so many musicians understand that. In any organization, when that's the hardest part, I think, in any organization, business or otherwise, is to get people to put aside. They say, well, the standard quote in the States is, you know, check your egos at the door. But I think that more appropriately would be check your insecurities at the door.
Japanese is not used to negotiation. As a matter of fact, some people say Japanese are the worst people who at the negotiation. Chinese people are more outspoken. Korean people are more outspoken. Japanese culture is more rather quiet. Taciturnity is something that be valued for a long time. Even though it's changing slowly. So people have to get used to express their views without offending other people. And also the other people who is listening has to learn not to be offended.
We're treating them as grace notes, which is actually better for propelling the tempo, but it's not quite correct. Why don't we try to right on the 8th note, but without slowing down. So.
But having the gesture still go to the chord.
Yes. You think it should go to the second bar?
Oh, really?
I don't know, announcement and then now it starts.
Here it starts.
Nardo thinks they're all equal.
I think they're all equal. I think they're just like 3, timpani whacks there. No offense. I mean, I just think they're just an announcement. Nothing. There's no real musical direction.
Let's try. Yeah, let's try Bob's suggestion.
More, less, more.
Which one? Yeah, more. Yeah, going to the second bar.
What I find interesting about the Orpheus process is it's really about building team sort of emotional intelligence. You know, here's a group of 30 or more musicians with an obvious commitment to a high quality end product, their music, right? They're starting with a score, we're starting with a blank piece of paper, but theoretically we all have the same interest in an excellent end product. They're able to suspend some disbelief, if you will, in the other's point of view, or disagreement, and at least try. That's team emotional intelligence. That's what all of us need to do better. And I think in the process, you're going to energize individuals to step up and be leaders.
is it possible to have one big picture? One big picture shared by all of the members. Is that possible?
Musical point of view, we understand not only, oftentimes when you have a conductor, you only play from your part. You don't really try to understand other parts or trying to learn what's going on in other parts. So where Orpheus, you have to learn whole score, what everybody has, when, how, that fits into the entire music. That's what, some of us are talking about big picture. And not necessarily your picture out there that you're going to see. But eventually it is the picture.
Not everything in a performance is the way, I guess, I imagined it. But the point is, it's ever evolving, and there is no one way to interpret it. But there's a sense of enfranchisement that each person has the right and the obligation to be involved in the process. And so even if it's not the way, I may politic for a certain idea, and if I'm smart enough, I'll realize if I don't have a chance. So I put it out, and if it's not going to happen, that's okay. That's okay. If I was dismissed, if I made that suggestion and the only response was, or worse, I think that would not make me feel, I would feel alienated.
Kenji, you had a question.
Yes, I'm curious about the function of the eye contact. I observed that some of you use the eye contact, but some of you don't. So
We'd like to know who did it.
You often use? No. The Baroque people don't use? Because of the instrument or the personality?
I can tell you look at this page. Many notes that you really have to concentrate.
Also.
It's largely personal style too, I think. When I listen to somebody, I tend to look in the direction that I'm listening. And I think a lot of people do listen more peripherally, and their ears come out like really focused.
As you noticed, we make comments about what one another is doing and how we can improve it, but not in a personal sense. With the idea that we all have the common goal of making the highest possible quality music that we can.
I played with the group for maybe 10 years before I actually developed a voice that people would listen to. It just takes a while. It takes quite a while to get the skills, to learn the skills, to work with this.
What I wanted to say before, that it takes a while to learn to have your voice, but actually after that it's important to learn to be quiet. Because things can degenerate into talking. And actually the analogy that I like to use is that of having a credit limit. And so if you make a really strong point, it's the kind of point, some points take, you'll use up more credit than others. It's also like the way the group is structured. I'm always sitting in the back, and every remark you make from the back uses up more credit because everyone has to turn around and get to the back.
Process is really just a small part of what we do. We're making it into something huge. What we do is play the music, and that's our main goal. That's our big picture, to bring you our best performance of the music. This is why I'm here. I choose to be here because we have a very good chance of making this magic for you.
Our business school was created to change Japan for good. And the metaphor today is exactly the message the students should take away, because some of these students are company sponsored. And we want these students to go back to their organization and make it flat. I don't know if they'll rotate the president, but they can certainly learn the structural reform that's needed to really change a big organization that they belong to. And it's very important that the students get a tacit knowledge. This is coming from their body and learning something not mentally here in the head, but really in the heart and the stomach.
Musicians know when something works, and they know when it doesn't work. And in a community of practice like Morgan Stanley, where you have very, very bright people from a lot of different parts of the world, different cultures, coming together to talk about something, something similar goes on, and that is when the group thinks that's really good, it is really good. And when the group thinks that's not very good, it's not very good. So you're striving for the same kind of sense of the music. But can you know it was the best thing that could have possibly been done? You never know for sure. And I guess at the end of the day, you would judge this on the strength of, is the client really happy? Is this the best product of its kind in the market? Are people responding to it? Are we getting a market share because people are responding to it? You have some objective measures where they might not tell you it was perfect and the best, but they would tell you it was better than anybody else's and it was very good at its time.
All right.